We'll move on to the main event of the evening, as they say. And I gotta say, so I put $20 on Gastelum, plus 120. I really liked. I felt pretty good about it too when I did it. Like I wasn't even stressing. I felt pretty confident.
I mean,
I
honestly, throughout most of the fight, if round four had gone a little bit different, you'd be on the other end of the money. You know what I mean?
you know what though? Last night I was actually I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Usually when I put money on somebody, as with most people, it's very hard to like score a fight objectively or go against your own
Yeah.
monetary interest when scoring a fight. I last night while watching the fight and just I was able to like be objective. I had Cannonier all the fucking way. I knew, you know why though? Because like through 2.5 rounds, Gastelum never even got close to a takedown. Cannonier had stuck
He,
in the takedown.
he was
In my
trying hard, too.
in my mind's eye, like I like Gastelum because I thought he had like more paths to victory with it, because Gastelum is well known for his wrestling. If you would have told me it was going to be a kickboxing match, I probably would have put the money on Cannonier and laid the money. I thought Gastelum was going to be able to use his wrestling, and Cannonier just neutralized it all. Hats off, I'll eat my shit. Gastelum's wrestling was absolutely stuffed and just proved to be 100% ineffective. And I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, this fight was a toss-up," or I said, "This is a guy who bet on Gastelum." I thought Cannonier looked great and essentially dominated the fight. Like I knew from round two on essentially that I wasn't going to win that
Well,
bet.
I will say rounds one and two were ultra competitive. I mean, I scored round one to Cannonier, but almost for the exact same reasons that I scored round two to Gastelum.
Yeah, me too.
They were super active. They were really trading like pretty evenly for the amount of strikes they were throwing. I just thought that Cannonier, it almost seemed like he would land and Gastelum wouldn't have the immediate urge to counter. He would kind of eat it and then try to like wait to reset up his like entries and fight like that way. And I was like, I think he'd be better off trying to counter strike Cannonier.
Well, and this is where I was at. Even because you're right, I gave round one to Cannonier, round two to Gastelum. But even after the round that Gastelum won, he didn't win because of his wrestling. And I was just like, my wallet did not feel comfortable, because like I thought that was the path to victory. That was the marked on paper. That was the marked advantage, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's like in football. We like making our football analogies. If you know the other team's best cornerback is out and he's injured,
Oh, you're going to attack that side of the
you're
field.
gonna put your best receiver on that guy and throw a couple go routes, right? But say that guy proves to be a stud who's just waiting for his opportunity and picks
Yeah.
off one of the go routes. You're like, well, fuck! I built my whole game plan about picking on this corner, and this guy's,
This guy's actually a stud. Like, we're going to have to refigure it out.
and that's how I felt about Gastelum's takedown offense on Cannonier. Like that was like my whole game plan as a bettor was like around Gastelum's wrestling, and Cannonier just neutralized it pretty early on and throughout the fight. And I was just like, oh shit, I think I know how this is about to go down.
Which round was it that Cannonier scored the knockdown? Was that three or four?
It was three. He dropped him with the right, but then it was weird. Got the end of that round after getting dropped may have been Gastelum's like best sequence of the fight.
Yeah.
He was bringing it to Cannonier with ferocity and landing some pretty big shots after getting dropped. It was just that, but see, like you can't score that round for Gastelum because even
No.
like his best moment came after getting dropped. Like,
Yeah. And like I had it 29-28 after three. And I really in my head was thinking, like, well, if Gastelum makes a few adjustments here or there, or like gets a takedown and actually gets on top, I was like, there's an easy way for him to win this fourth round or fifth round.
yeah,
Easy way.
the wrestling never even had a chance of succeeding. I mean, it just was neutralized, just shut down,
So
shut the fuck down.
how did you score four and five? Because I think one, two, and three are pretty obvious that it's one and three to Cannonier, two to Gastelum.
Round four, closest round of the entire fight.
That's what I thought
thought
too.
Cannonier's uppercuts were kind of the differentiating factor for me. I thought I gave round four to Cannonier. They said the uppercuts, but Gastelum's pace and pressure was really good. It was kind of Clay Guida-esque, actually, how much he was just whiffing.
Just
Like
yeah, just
he was just he couldn't find he just was ineffective. Just
I couldn't
very
say it better
reminded me of
myself
Clay Guida.
because it's stats wise, Gastelum landed 2 less strikes than Cannonier, but threw 50 more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All I remember of that round is just whiff, fucking whiff.
That's what I mean. I feel
And
like he should have been
but
counter striking a little more.
you can view that as activity, and you're right, the pace and pressure. Like, there's a lawyer ball argument to be made for Gastelum winning the 4th round, but to me, those uppercuts Cannonier landed were like 2 or 3 or 4. You can debate how many times more impactful than
Yeah,
Gastelum's whiffs from his pressure. I mean, it was like pressure for the sake of pressure, not like effective striking.
that's
And
exactly
this
right.
and this fight was turned into a striking bout based on the ineffectiveness of Gastelum's wrestling. So if you're scoring it as a striking bout, the effectiveness of Cannonier's uppercuts to me have more weight than like the octagon control of Gastelum in round 4.
I absolutely agree. But what's weird though is I think that after round 4, Cannonier might have thought to himself like, "Oh, I got this fight bagged. Like, just got to be safe in round 5," which kind of lost him round 5 in my opinion.
100% in lockstep with you. Kelvin Gastelum won round 5. But nowhere in my reasons for giving him round 5 was the word damage. And that was the story
Right.
of
It was
this fight.
activity. It
Like,
was all
Cannonier,
activity.
Cannonier, I gotta fucking say, man, from a guy who started his career as a scary power puncher, dare I say he's like a heady fighter now? Like,
Yeah,
was
it's
that
weird.
not like a intellectual performance that he put on? Like, it wasn't like he almost needs a new nickname. Like, Killer Gorilla is no longer Jared Cannonier. Like, that doesn't like he's a very heady, smart, which is crazy because he's building towards this fight with Stylebender, which obviously Stylebender is probably the most heady striker, probably in the whole UFC. But Cannonier is like almost like building for that fight. Like, you know what I mean? As far as like, because if he ran in like a killer gorilla against Adesanya, I mean, he doesn't stand a chance. But this new, I still obviously wouldn't bet Cannonier against Adesanya, but as far as like a heady strategy, probably not the dumbest like direction to take his career in. Like, I don't know.
Well,
He just gets in better and better shape and gets a bigger and bigger fight IQ. Not mad at it.
let me ask it to you this way though, because when I'm looking at the middleweight division, I think Gastelum is like the perfect gatekeeper to like if you're going to be able to get a title shot or not. Like if you can beat Gastelum in pretty good fashion, I think there's a chance that you get a title shot, right? Like even though he's 9, I don't think the guys like Uriah Hall are getting past Kelvin Gastelum super easily. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys where it's like you're not really like they're the same level. I think Gastelum's that level that's kind of entry point. But what's super interesting to me about middleweight is that, and I think we've agreed about this before, is there's 2 guys at the top, Whitaker and Adesanya, and really Adesanya is a little bit above Whitaker.
Yeah.
Still, like that's 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like just below Whitaker, it's like there because Cannonier obviously lost to him. Could Paulo Costa beat Whitaker? Probably not.
No.
Could Vettori beat Whitaker? Maybe. Probably still not. So I think where it gets really interesting is Hermanson, Till, Brunson, Costa, Cannonier, Vettori. Those 6 guys are all interchangeable to me.
When Till and Brunson is what, 3 weeks from now? It's very soon. It's very
Yeah,
soon.
I want to say it's 4
3
weeks
weeks,
off. Let me see.
3 or 4. It's coming up. It's booked. It's a Fight Night main event, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yep, UFC Fight Night 191, September 4th. So we're 2 weeks out from it.
2 weeks out, yeah.
And right now, Till is the minus 150 favorite on opening.
So I think that fight, it's not a number 1 contenders match because if Brunson wins, he doesn't get the fight. But if Till wins, I mean, the UFC, everything's a lot better if Till was to ascend, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like how they say the NBA is better when the Lakers are good. The MLB is better when the Yankees are good. Like, I feel like the UFC, if they had their druthers, they would rather fucking see Darren Till like ascend. But
for sure.
I gotta say, like, I think if Till wins, has Till and Cannonier fought?
I do not believe so. I can check real fast. Also, just a quick side note: that September 4th card is loaded. That's a fight night, but it features the Paddy Pimblett's debut, which is like a lot of people have been talking about him for years.
Yeah.
Dude, Charles Jourdain fights Lerone Murphy, which that's going to be a banger. You also have Ankalaev and Ozdemir as a top 10 205 matchup.
Yeah.
You have Tom
that
Aspinall.
might need to happen.
Yeah, you have Tom Aspinall and Ariane Lipsky fighting on the card as well.
Nice.
So, like,
nice.
that's a studded card. I like that one a lot.
You know what? Next week, though, I'm low-key excited for. Next week's a sleeper card. Did you watch this season of The Return of the Ultimate Fighter?
No, I didn't.
So I did, bro. And next week has the Ultimate Fighter, the middleweight. The final is on that card.
Oh.
And both of the finals, they're putting it on the fight night card. So the bantamweights, and then there's a third fight of a guy who was on the show as well. He didn't end up winning or getting to the final, but he was like one of the most hyped up guys. I think his name's Arlovsky. So read off next week's card. I'll tell you the Ultimate Fighter guys.
Okay, so there's Brian Battle versus Gilbert Urbina.
Yeah, that's the 185 final, but it's kind of whack because Urbina lost in the last episode of the season, but the guy who beat him got hurt.
Oh,
But Battle, man, Battle's who I'm going for. Here's Team Volkanovski. He's sick.
Battle.
Because especially Urbina doesn't deserve to really be there.
So I bet you're thinking of Andre Petrosky and Michael Gilmore?
Yeah, Petrosky was on the show. He was on, and maybe Gilmore too. I don't know, but I know for a fact Petrosky was. And then Tercios. Did you see like a Tercios? That's the
that's
the bantamweight finale.
Where is so Brady Highstand and Ricky Tercios.
Yeah, that's like the so Tercios won, but it was like a war, and he's all beat up right now. Literally, as they're shooting the promotions, he's all like cut up and beat up.
Nice.
And then Brady won his last fight. He doesn't have like a scratch on him. He's like a young like phenom. He's like 23 years old. He's like I want to say he trains New England Cartel. I could be wrong. He's definitely like an East Coast guy.
Would you be surprised then to hear that Tercios is the minus 175 favorite?
Yeah, I think so. I think I may like Brady a small bet, 1 unit on the
not bad
because
I mean you're getting plus 150 on Brady right now.
What's the number on that Battle fight?
Brian Battle is the minus 165 favorite.
Okay, yeah, that's about right.
That's probably about right.
The other guy though, that's real interesting because the guy that's supposed to be fighting him, he knocked out Urbino. Like bad, like pieced the fuck up. It was like the most explosive, dangerous guy on the whole show. So I think Battle would have been an underdog against that guy. I forget his name, but he was like a super athletic black dude, super dangerous. I think he would have been an underdog, but now he's the favorite against the guy that got knocked out like a couple weeks ago.
You were right. This card does have some nice fighters. Mahmed Muradov versus Mearshart, Wellington Turman and Sam Alvey. That's a fight of two guys I cannot stand, and I want both of them to be out of the UFC.
The loser gets out.
Like a loser leaves town?
Yeah.
Good. I love those fights.
I really think so. Alvey's lost like 5 in a row, bro.
D-Rod and Kevin Lee. Super interesting. Whoa. I don't know. Does D-Rod deserve Kevin Lee yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. I may even like that plus money. What's the plus money on D-Rod?
What's crazy is he's only plus 125. They're not even
say he might win that shit.
Yeah.
Kevin Lee hasn't fought in a meaningful period of time.
Yeah, and Kevin Lee has looked worse as he's gone on,
and
which is really weird.
Fire.
True facts. You also have Alicio Di Chirico fighting. You have Mario Batista.
Dangerous.
Yeah, Batista, who has only one loss in his career, is fighting Guido Canetti, which Guido is a great name.
Yeah, Guido Canetti.
And then Jamal Emmers fights Pat Sabatini. Darren Stewart fights Justin Jacoby. Kevin Kroom, Marcelo Rojo. Like, there's fun fights. That's a fun card.
I may have to get a little parlay going for next weekend. You know what I mean? There's some. There's some fights I like on there.
In wrapping up Cannonier and Gastelum, what do you think is next for both those guys?
I think Cannonier gets the winner of Till Brunson because he said it himself, and it's kind of like one of those. Who's that old girl that was just talking about she owed money?
Cheyenne Baez.
It was one of those Cheyenne Baez situations where Cannonier was like, "Look, I can't financially afford to wait for the winner of Adesanya Whitaker, even if he wanted to give me the next. Like he said, he like literally has to fight again. He said that like that was his own
Really?
words. Oh yeah, he said I'm broke. That was his words. So
This fool's bad with his money.
yeah, I think so as well. But it's been like a year and a half since he's fought, right? No, just a year. It's been. I mean, he hasn't been super active. I mean, depending on what he's getting, and he
Yeah,
lost his
actually,
last fight,
yeah.
so he
It's
didn't get his win bonus.
you
So
know what? I kind of blame him because he was on that KO. He lost to Blachowicz and then Reyes 17. So that's December of 17, and then he loses again in May of 18. And then he comes back in November of 18, knocks out David Branch, then comes back in May of 19, knocks out Anderson Silva, then comes back in September of 19. So he's taken like, this like 4 to 6 month window between each fight. That's about right, right? Knocks out Hermanson. Then he decides to take a year off before he fights Whitaker,
and then he
which,
lost to Whitaker and didn't get
right,
his
so you
win
don't get a
bonus.
win bonus.
Yeah,
And then he
yeah.
took almost another year off to fight Gastelum.
No, I feel it. But I'm saying I don't think he's necessarily making excuses. He's just saying he wants to earn a living, and I'm not necessarily mad at it. But I think he gets the winner of Till Brunson. It makes as much sense in the world to me because that's like, I mean, 2 weeks from now. I mean,
Yeah, no, Till Brunson makes the most sense, I think, for him. For
because Till's
Gastelum,
7, as much as they love him, I mean, he's ranked 7 right now. So, I mean, for Cannonier, I mean, it's not like he necessarily can just jump Cannonier. I mean, maybe if he goes out and just like not gets a first round knockout of Brunson, maybe, but still, I don't know. I think, and then if Brunson wins, I mean, if Brunson, which he easily could, man, he could easily do what he did to Kevin Holland against Darren Till. He could, and he could win, and then I think that fight makes all the sense in the world.